Grawlys. We're back with another on the paint station update showing the Triumvirate of Enid, which is Enid, Ivrain and the Vizark. The progress so far, we're on the final stages, just a couple of tiny little bits to finish off, so I'll go onto my paint station and I'll show you what's been happening and the progress so far. Okay, so here we have Ivrain. She's pretty much complete now. In fact, I'm calling her done. She's had the basing done in pyrite with a gentle yellow wash and then all varnished over, so that's like glinting like gold. That's nice. And the gyre inks, let me bring it up so you can see him closely. Put focus, there we go. He's got leopard and tiger stripes, and his face is done. And you can't see it very clearly, but the gem underneath on his chest is like the one on the avatar on Enid, where they're a galaxy inside the nebula stone, and then the stones have been varnished with a gloss varnish. So that's the gyre inks. I'm quite liking that. And so that was just the going over the brown spots with a very watery, well, not too watery, but a thinned down Badab black, or whatever the equivalent is, but just a very dilute black paint just to go round the spots, and hopefully that looks like a bit of a leopard marking on him. So we're calling Ivrain done now. There you go, we'll turn around so you can see the back of the cat as well. That's all glued in place and that's all done. So we'll bring the Vizark in now, and he's done slightly different from last time because the eye lenses have been changed. Mrs. Grawlys wanted yellow eyes, so he's going to focus. So he's got this very kind of subtle kind of glow that it's got going on there, rather than that green. Mrs. Grawlys likes that better, and again based in the pyrite. Let's see if we can get a close up on that one. It's just crushed up, glued into place, and then a little Casadora yellow wash, just a light wash over the top to accentuate the golden colour, makes it match the edge of the base better. The actual pyrite is quite a silvery gold colour, so I just wanted to bring the tone back to a yellow more. So again, he's done. We're calling him finished. I'll do a showcase on all these, showing them separately, or maybe all together, I don't know, but we'll put a showcase video out for these. But he's done. It was just some touching up. What I have found though, this spike on the top of the head, I say 3 times it's broken, and 3 times I've had to glue it back on there, so that's a kind of a weak point. I think the headdresses are kind of quite weak there, and he's still got his Damascus pattern sword there. That's all done and finished, and all the little intricate bits running up the base of the blade, they've all been picked out in gold. So that's the Vizark done. So I'm just going to reposition the camera for a slightly wider angle, because the avatar Enid isn't going to fit into this camera shot. So I'll be back in a moment with Enid and show you the progress on that one so far. So here's Enid, almost done. I've just got to put the brightest silver highlights onto his body, and then we can call him finished. But what I've done, so I don't know if it's going to pick out. Let me find one that actually looks like that one there. so I can actually get it close enough to see. Let me try further away and zoom in. Oh, no. Can I bring that closer? Yeah, that's what we're looking for, the galaxy effect that you can see on those gems there. And so that was a little bit trial and error in the end. Sorry, it's wobbling because it's such a zoomed in close-up shot, and I'm holding it close to the camera by hand, so it is wobbling a little bit. But with that one, let's get the oh, wrong way, zoom out. So with that one, I ended up getting a piece of sellotape and a needle actually used. One of these, which is a hypodermic needle that I use for my diabetic injections, and actually pierce holes into the sellotape with the intention of making a tiny stencil, but the size, it was just prohibitive. On a larger scale it did work. It worked as a stencil, and the paint went through and left like a tiny dots in the spiral shape of the galaxy. However, when I tried to get that small enough to fit into the gemstone, it just didn't translate, so I had to scrap that idea. The next thing was trying to cut out a tiny spiral, and using the same can of air and paint on the brush technique that I used to get the very fine star fields on all the cloaks and the swirling vortex, but that didn't work either. I'd say it was just too small to actually cut. I couldn't cut that small with even with a scalpel blade, a brand new scalpel blade, and it just wasn't happening. So I've had to come in and try and paint them by hand. So that's what I've had to do there. That was painted white on the black backgrounds, and then I used just a watered down Casadora yellow just to tone down the white a little bit, and then came in with where are we? Assamin blue and Bal red, and they were kind of again watered down just to give the colour around the outside of the galaxy, and then back in once that had all dried with just a tiny highlight of white in the very centre of where the galaxy is. So that's why it was it looks fairly colourful, but that's the best that I could do given the tiny size of these gems and what I was trying to paint inside. So hopefully it looks something like a galaxy in a gemstone. The other things that have changed on there is the sword. So let me bring the sword up so you can see it. It was blended from red through orange and yellow to white at the tip. However, Mrs. Grawley wasn't keen on that. She wanted flames on the sword. So what I've done, I painted the sword, repainted it, I should say, black, and then used various shades from like deep red to paint a flame effect through the full width of the sword, and then gradually working closer and closer to the edge through the lighter reds, the oranges, into the yellows, and finally tiny little highlights of white to represent the hottest parts. So that's actually a flame sword, and is it going to show? It might not show up too well. Let me try the other side, see if that one is any better. Slightly, so hopefully you can see the flames on there glowing and flaming along the Avatar's sword. The other thing that we've come in and done is the horn. Mrs. Grawley wanted that to kind of match the nebula, so that was stippled with sponges. So you see they've dried out, but a very pale blue and a baby pink, which are Baharoth blue, and this one Fulgrim pink, and they were stippled the length of the horn, and then we came in with non-oil just to shade the recesses. Oh, sorry, there was a Leviathan purple wash over the top, and then highlighting with the pink and the blue again. So that's given that nebular effect to the horns. There's a couple of little spots I need to touch up where I've caught it, just on there where there's a bit of blue that's gone on the gold. I didn't notice it until it had dried, and that just needs touching up. Where the flame comes up the side of that gold there. All the gold detail on the armour, that was done with the Genna's gold as a base, and then burnished gold, the brightest one, that one, just to pick out the edges and the bits that are going to catch the light. So that's all the way down the leg. If we go up all the way up the back. So that's it. The only thing left on there is a couple of little touch-ups, and to get the highlights of the silver on the body, and then we can call it done. Like I say, the base has been done with the pyrite as well. So we're almost finished with the Triumvirate. I won't show the progress just with the highlights. So we'll kind of call it on the paint station stuff done with the Triumvirate. I'll just come back with a showcase video just once they finally finished. One of my 60-second showcases, I'll do one of them for these, and that's it done. The next bit that we're returning to on the paint station will be, oh sorry, I knocked my tripod. These things, the Skyrunners. So these have had just base coats. They're all assembled. They're in the process of just having those first colours on. But we're going to have a male crew and a female crew. The female crew, you notice that's got a pink canopy where the male will have a purple canopy, and then we'll blend the colours from the lighter purple to the darker purple, for the lighter pink to the darker pink, and then we'll come in with the blues to make the checker pattern on the hoop at the back, the fins at the back, like on the Starweaver. That will have a rainbow effect on there, and then we'll pick out the underneath in the vents with that kind of greenish glow like we've got on the other vehicles, and the bronze gold colour for the clusters and the engines and bits and bobs, and the seat, and then we can get on to doing the crew. So that's the next one on the paint station. But what I've also got is we'll just bring these into shot so you can see these while I chat. Little Grawley got an Age of Sigmar set. It was the old Island of Blood, was it called, set that Games Workshop released for £50 as pretty much as a Age of Sigmar starter set. So it's got Skaven in there, which is what he wanted, but there are the High Elves. I presume they're still called High Elves. I don't kind of follow fantasy as much as I used to do, but I've got them, and there's a Griffin in that set, which Mrs. Grawley likes the idea of me painting once the Harlequins are done. So there's more and more for me to do before I get back to me Beltan Eldar and painting my beloved green and white. Anyway, we shall leave it there for now with a shot of the Triumvirate on the screen there, and we'll come back at you with another video from Grawlys Lair as soon as we can. So, as always, from Grawlys Lair, take care.